Hey guys, Gojira 851 here with the next part of our Godzilla review / retrospective with the film Gojira no Gyakushu. English translation, Godzilla's Counterattack. Here in America, it's mainly known as Godzilla Raids Again. And it is a follow-up to the film Gojira / Godzilla King of the Monsters. Okay, so, about this movie, a lot of drastic changes were made in it. Godzilla is a lot thinner this time. They changed the suit to, so the suit actor didn't, overheat and get heat exhaustion and almost drown in several scenes. And they changed the musician as well. And music's good to it, but it's not a Akira Fukube though. So let's just get into the story. The story centers around these two pilots. One's name is Skyoka. Don't get mad if I mispronounce it, okay? It's the way I heard it in the movie. And the other is Kobayashi. Two buddies flying for this fishing company. Pretty much they take planes out and they spot where, big schools of tuna are, and they report back, and they send out the ships to collect the fish. Well, Skyoka and his girlfriend Idemi, here we go. They're flirting on the radio when Kobayashi's plane starts sputtering and the engine goes dead near an island south of Japan. He calls it in, and Skyoka is conveniently in the area, and he goes to check on Kobayashi. Kobayashi was able to land his plane, but he's got a broken arm, and they're sitting on the beach of this very rocky, very dry island. It's not really an island, it's more like a giant rock that's kind of taking the shape of an island. Well, they're laughing, talking about buying their girlfriend's presents, they're gonna go dancing later. When the rock starts to shake, they're like, huh. The both of them look up, and they see this. Yes, Godzilla and a new monster is there, and they are battling one another. Skyoka and Kobayashi, they hide until the two, Godzilla and this other monster, land in the ocean. They make a break for Skyoka's plane, because his plane actually works, and they go back to Osaka, Japan to make their report. And they're sat down in a room, and they're actually looking at dinosaur books. And they come to find that the other monster is the monster known as the Anguirus. And it's the name Anguirus. And it is a monster that just lives for killing things. Okay, cool. And it's theorized it grew to the size that it was, it's the same size as Godzilla. Actually, this is the largest Anguirus is in the films. I could be wrong because of the way how things are scaled, but I think this is the largest Anguirus that's ever been in a film. And so they bring in Dr. Yamane, a returning Dr. Yamane from Gojira, and they're talking about Godzilla then, showing footage from the first film, and they're like, well, how are we going to deal with Godzilla? You beat him the first time. They're like, well, if he's here, then we didn't really beat him. Spoiler alert. Well, actually, no. We'll leave that alone. We'll talk about it in a future film. They're like, the oxygen destroyer and the way how he was beaten before is all gone now. Now we have to deal with these two. So, the film goes on, and, they're sending out ships to find the monsters. Can't really find them, and until Godzilla is spotted, and he's heading towards Osaka. And rather than erect giant electrical towers around Osaka Bay, they theorize that these monsters are drawn by fire and drawn by, bright flashy things. So they order a blackout for the city in Osaka that they're going to be going to, and they start launching flares out to sea. Godzilla emerges from the ocean. and you can tell he's a lot different in this film, and I think he looks really cool. I think he gets a little bad rap. I think this Godzilla gets a lot of bad rap. You know, it's not Gojira. Okay, it's not the first Godzilla. That's right. I'm saying it is not as cool looking as the original Godzilla, but I dig this look. It's a little thinner, and it moves around a lot better. But, you know, okay. Yeah, I digress. So, with Godzilla landing, and, you know, they're actually trying to get him to leave, and he's actually starting to leave when they do a prisoner transfer. The strangest things all night. They're doing a prisoner transfer. They're moving like 20 prisoners from station to station or whatever. When one of them in the back fakes a, well, that's what they say, but they block one of the prisoners, block the guards. They're not handcuffed, by the way. They block the window and they take down the 2 guards that are in the back with their guns. And it was saying that one of them's faking having an epileptic seizure. At least they got the name right. They take the guns and then they escape. The 2 drivers of this, you know, paddy wagon, you know, they stop a couple, but several of them get away. Through the ruckus, there is an explosion. A huge ball of fire rises, and that draws Godzilla back to the city. Then the army is there. They're in hiding, and they begin firing on Godzilla. And everything's just bouncing off of him. He's far more pissed off and far more stronger than he was. Actually, no, he's about the same now I think about it. But, you know, Godzilla is just stomping around and just doing his thing. Anguirus then shows up. Godzilla turns and looks at Anguirus. Anguirus looks at Godzilla. Both of them roar at each other defiantly of each other's presence. These 2 have had a problem in the past. Someone didn't pay somebody back. Someone borrowed a lawnmower. You name it. Someone pissed somebody off here, and the 2 battle. And these 2 battle for a long time. The army is firing all their weapons at Godzilla and Anguirus. They might as well be throwing cotton candy at them. Right? Nothing is happening. Okay? These 2 are just trying to kill each other. And the fight just rages on into the night. The war just raging on between these 2. Godzilla using his atomic breath on Anguirus. You think that would be against, you know, some kind of etiquette, because Anguirus doesn't have any ranged attacks. The weirdest thing, you ever see the movie Gremlins, first one, where Billy's mom is being attacked by the gremlins in the kitchen, and she takes out a can of cooking spray and sprays the one gremlin and blinds it? Or if you don't, then let's just say it's like taking a spray can of a spray bottle of water and spraying it at a dog. That's pretty much what it looks like is happening. Okay, Godzilla's attack is just not having any effect yet. These 2 are just start resorting to biting and punching, and Godzilla's trying to get a good grip on Anguirus, but Anguirus got all these spikes going down his back, and just all humanity could look at is just Godzilla and Anguirus just ripping at each other, destroying everything. This fight goes on for a while. Part of some little karmic retribution, the prisoners that got away actually hide in the subway. Well, Godzilla and Anguirus fight next to a, you know, water aqueduct, I guess. So it's some kind of water plant next to the place, and floods the entire subway and kills the prisoners. Okay, there's some karmic justice for you. The fight ends up around Osaka Tower. A staple in Godzilla films is having the kaiju involved, namely Godzilla and the other monster he's either fighting or teaming with, around a large castle, or pagoda I think they're called. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, but these 2 are battling, And they're just slamming into this castle over and over again. And this time, Godzilla gets the upper hand. Anguirus is trying to get away. Yes, he can't take it anymore because Godzilla starts, really turning this fight around towards the end. Especially when he gets to the castle. He's just slamming Anguirus, knocking him on his side, kicking him and punching him. Anguirus is trying to get away. Godzilla actually comes up behind Anguirus, comes down and bites Anguirus on the back of his neck. And he just rips at the back of Anguirus' neck. Anguirus is just moaning in pain, trying to get away. You see blood start. I know the film's in black and white, just like the reviews are in black and white. Stick with the theme. You can see blood coming down the neck. Eventually, Anguirus falls and with the castle, and he just falls down, seemingly beaten. Godzilla stands and he roars in victory. And then this time he uses his atomic breath. And it actually lights Anguirus on fire. Anguirus no longer is in the film. Godzilla is the clear victor in this. So what happens then? Does Godzilla turn back around and destroy Osaka? No. Godzilla actually goes out to sea. Well, actually, the film cuts to black, and you're left to think, oh, what happens afterwards? But actually, cut to the next morning, and, there wasn't that many civilian casualties this time, and, Tsukioka, Kobayashi, and the girlfriend Hidemi, and her father, and, they're all just kind of chit-chatting. A couple of months go by, snow begins to fall, and, they get back to work. The plant is rebuilt. That's another huge, big casualty, I guess, can say, was the fishing plant. It just explodes. It goes everywhere. It's factory. I'm sorry, it's not plant. It's a factory. So everybody gets back to work. Tsukioka is out, just looking for fish, looking for tuna. Tuna, delicious. Love it in sushi. When he sees a very familiar set of dorsal plates in the ocean, like it's a huge shark, but it's Godzilla heading south, the way how he was at the beginning of the film. He radios back, and Kobayashi, not Kobayashi, Tsukioka then goes to the island, and there's Godzilla standing there. Okay, let me just address this. A lot of people like to insult this scene when, Tsukioka sees Godzilla standing on the beach and saying that it's a bad shot. It was 1955, guys. Come a little slack, just a little slack. I thought the shot was great to see Godzilla standing on the beach. Yeah, he's not moving, okay, but maybe he's thinking really hard about something, Where's the next whale that he's going to eat? Maybe he feels bad for killing Anguirus. Maybe he's in deep contemplation. Could be. Anyway. Sorry, it's just a little joke. Anyway. So, they started to see that this island is remote. Maybe they can take Godzilla out on this island. And, that'd be the end of it. The only problem is they're worried that Godzilla's going to leave. So Kobayashi comes and relieves Tsukioka to keep an eye on Godzilla. And as the military starts to show up, they're firing at Godzilla. Once again, nothing's working. Kobayashi actually starts to... Kobayashi, they kind of show him off as kind of a goofy guy in this film, but I think he's another underrated character as well in the Godzilla franchise. He actually starts flying his plane, this biplane. This isn't a jet fighter that they're flying. These are little single-engine planes they're flying. He's actually flying near Godzilla to keep him on the island. Well, he gets two really good passes, and then he comes in for the third. Godzilla breathes fire and strikes Kobayashi's plane. Kobayashi slams into the mountainside next to. Tsukioka seeing his best friend die. But in his death, they see an avalanche, and they think, oh, because it's snowing, and this island has huge blankets of snow and all these ice and everything. You know what? Instead of shooting at Godzilla, let's trap him in ice and snow and just, you know, create a huge avalanche. And just imprison Godzilla on the island. And that's what they do. They come back, you know, and Godzilla's able to destroy a couple of planes, but they encase Godzilla in snow and ice. And that is the end of our story. It is very sad that Kobayashi is dead. Everyone sheds a tear. But Godzilla is trapped inside of this ice. And that is Godzilla Raids again. I really like this film. I believe this is an underrated film. I recommend that you give it a watch. The design of Godzilla I really like. It's just like the 54, except a lot slimmer. There's a couple of weird parts in the film where the filming of it, I know the film reel actually starts to speed up a lot. And that gets a little distracting. The puppeteering work they use actually made a new kind of puppet for Godzilla for this film. You know, the teeth are a lot more jagged, and the skin seems to almost look like a very thorny look to it. And they made a puppet of Angus and having a lot of close-in shots where they're fighting each other. And, you know, I like this film. I think it does a great job, and apparently a lot of people don't really like this film, but I really do. And I recommend this film. Is it the best? No. It's really good, but I give this film a B. Yes, I give this film a B. It's not as low as everyone says it is, but it's not really on the highest point either. I give this film a B. It's just about an A, but there is it does feel a little rushed, and it is rushed because this came out when this puppy come out, April 24th of 1955. When did Gojira come out? Oh, by the way, the Godzilla Compendium. That's what I'm using for a lot of my information, because I have terrible memory nowadays. When did Gojira come out? The Japanese release of Godzilla. November 3rd, 1954. That is less than a year to make this film, so I think they did a great job in the time that they did. But this movie gets B. Alright guys, this is Gojira A51. To see you all back with the next film. Gigantus the Fire Monster.